Just a few weeks ago, I got an email from a volunteer. His name is Carl George. And he said he needed to speak with me because something was donated that needed to come to my attention.
So we were at a DAP board meeting. Our CEO, David Brinkman, said, I have something that came in from Revivals today that I think is extremely special. And he said, we got what we believe are some Holocaust mementos. And I was just astounded.
This is a Jewish star. In 1941, every Jewish person from the age of 6 years or older had to wear a Jewish star. They had to be clearly depicted on the left side of their chest or on their arm. So looking at this Jewish star, you can see it was likely hand-broidered around the borders to make it psychologically and emotionally feel less of a uniform, less of a degradation.
And they were cut, my mom and my cousin, without wearing the Star of David. Somebody pointed them that they were Jewish. And my mom was severely beaten on her upper arms that she couldn't lift them for a month for not having the star on. My cousin, who was at that time about 15 years old, they made her empty out an outhouse with her bare hands because of not having the Star of David on.
These are money notes that were distributed at the Lodz ghetto. They were given these notes. They were worthless outside the ghetto and almost worthless inside the ghetto, because what it supposedly did for you was allow you to purchase extra items. But what they did is they marked the prices so high deliberately that they were almost unable to use them. You can see how worn they are. Some are slightly torn and some have got marks on them. But to me, the most moving thing about them is imagining the amount of people that have actually touched them.
I think the concept of the individual is so critical here, because these artifacts, they're representations of individuals whose lives were upended and destroyed during the Second World War, during the Holocaust. We remember the Holocaust for the 6 million individual lives. 6 million is such a big number.
This personalizes that number. Somebody wore that on their sleeve. Somebody was forced to use that currency to buy bread or to buy eggs.
Never forget, because as those people that were in the Holocaust have gotten older, and then their legacy is gone, and they're not going to be able to tell their stories. So it is our job to make sure that the younger people know that it really happened, and having some things that came from it shows that to the community.
And it's also just to make sure the memory of those who unfortunately were murdered for being different, that we don't let that happen ever again, not in this country, not anywhere.
Good Holocaust education is still one of the most important tools that we have to combat racism and anti-Semitism and bigotry and bullyism in all its horrible forms.
There's a saying, Yiddish saying about a mitzvot, which is a miracle. This is a mitzvot, because these things don't happen randomly, in my opinion. It came to us because we were supposed to be the stewards of these items.
These artifacts are, in some ways, the closest thing we have to a living testimonial of the horrors of the Holocaust.
I wore the Star of David. I'm wearing the Star of David very proudly. And all my kids wear the Star of David now very proudly. Hate is wrong. Love is much better than hate. Hate against anybody is wrong. I still have hope that America is the shining star for everybody in pursuit of happiness. So my message is, never give up hope.